as I'm looking through the notes right now, I'm looking back and seeing the process that I went through in order to arrive to where I am right now. There was a lot of redundance, a lot of reconfirming and reanalyzing. Laying out the features that I found and organizing and reorganizing. It's interesting to see how I derived some things from others and when I derived them and how clear they are now and how unclear they were before. Some of these things that I discovered along the way, now I take them for granted. And that's interesting, and it's not necessarily good, because it becomes more difficult for me to understand why other people don't know it. These things that I take for granted. And so sometimes, if I'm thinking of teaching this, I'll graze over it without giving it a second thought, when for some people, they might need to focus on it. That's one of the concerns. Some of these things that I know now, they used to be epiphanies before, and now they're just phrases. Now they're just common sense. Not because they lost its meaning, because that does happen when a phrase loses its meaning. But these, it's just that I've gotten to a level of understanding them so well that now I agree with them fully. Now it just all makes sense, simply and easily. It's just this same things, the same concepts over and over again repeated. With a different order and with less essential words. Still, I remember, I'm looking at this here. And I remember when the stuff that I have was so unclear. Process to get there. It was interesting though. It's kind of like you see a pattern and you keep repeating to yourself these features that you have found, that you've discovered. The more you repeat them, the better you see the pattern. The more clear the pattern becomes. And then when you get the pattern, you get a whole new feature. You get a whole new shape. I think that's how it works. Okay, so there's these 4 things. Whoever opens this word, it's a word. Oh gosh, yes, I remember. That is so ambiguous compared to what I have right now. So ambiguous and unclear. Yeesh, man. Harvest. Gosh. Wow. This is interesting. this video are on the subject of meta notes, in which it's not really about the progress of the 10 elements, but it's about the analysis of how the 10 elements came about, because that is also important. So I'm analyzing the process, and what I'm deriving from that will be a meta process, will be a process of the process, and that is closer to the goal that is closer to what I'm trying to derive with this practicality project. It's not really how to make a system, but how does the how happen. And so I'm looking at this, and so as I was looking at the notes from yesterday and just going over everything I've been through, I realized that, you know, this analysis would go under meta notes, not under the 10 elements. And in the meta notes, I would describe how I got from one thing to the other. So there was a stage in which I had nothing, and I was just going off of in every stage I go off of experience. But as I derive things from from experiences, and as I have different experiences, I have more analysis, more data, and so I'm able to refine my discoveries and refine the concepts of my experience. So I'm thinking, after I make sure that these concepts are included in the 10 elements, I might save these I might still save these notes. I can't burn them yet, unless they're completely irrelevant. I might save these to kind of see if I can derive a meta process from them after I'm done with the 10 elements. But this will definitely go under the meta notes. So as I'm working, I'm pretty excited that this list of 10 elements will be the last arrangement that I have for all the concepts that I've derived. But now that I think about it, and I'm thinking about the list of the 10 elements, and yes, it will get longer because there's more. But then I'm thinking about the sub-lists that are the list within the list of each element. And I'm thinking that maybe this is not the last arrangement. And I'll tell you why this is a bit of a disappointment, because this is basically what just happens over and over again. I come up with stuff, I arrange it in some sort of way, I discover more things and add to it, and consolidate concepts and more and rearrange. So basically the process of the project is rearrange, expand, consolidate, rearrange, expand, consolidate, rearrange, expand, consolidate. And I was really excited about this list of 10 elements because I thought it would be the last arrangement. And now that I was completing it, I felt like I was close to being done, but it seems like it's gonna take a few more. I don't know, man. At least one more. I'll see how it goes, but I'm just doing one thing at a time, man. I'm not. I'll just finish it like this and see if I can work with it like this, because I think that this arrangement, oh man, when I discovered that there was an order to this, that was like a big epiphany. I was so excited about that. So I think this arrangement will provide really good benefit. So even if it's not the last arrangement that I keep, or the last arrangement that I come up with, it'll definitely be an arrangement that I can use because there's an order to it. So at least there is that advantage to it now. But yeah, but I'll keep working on it and see if see if I have to rearrange everything all over again. Actually, when I think about the whole thing, I can tell that I am excited about one thing, about the progress, and about the arranging and rearranging. Is that one thing that I noticed, that usually when I have to rearrange stuff, I'm always coming up with new things. I'm discovering new things to add to the list, and I'm always elaborating on those concepts so that the list becomes longer and bigger and bigger. And this time around, as I'm rearranging everything, there's less of that, and there's more consolidation and less elaboration. So that means that I've almost reached a point in which every concept that's relevant, I've pretty much discovered. I've been around the block quite a few times, so that everything that I see, I've seen at least once before. So right now is I think I found one point in which that could use elaborating, but I'm too excited to finish up and too repulsed by the idea of making it even longer, that I just ignored it, and I just continued trying to consolidate and trying to rearrange the whole thing. But that's the point in which I think I've reached that tipping point. As I'm rearranging everything, it's more like a review. It feels more like a review. So that's exciting. That's what makes this whole thing exciting. Yeah, because I do notice that I'm still excited about it, but I'm trying to figure out why. So that's one thing. There's more consolidation and elaboration this time around. So what I do is that I go through my notes carefully, trying to make sure that every little thing that I've written down, every little idea that the words convey is included in the rough draft of the final setup of the last setup that I'm working on, which now is the 10 elements. Yeah. Procrastination, though. I guess because of when I started to make my videos, you guys didn't see. I didn't give an example of how concepts are elaborated on, of how things are discovered and how concepts are elaborated. The part of the project where everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger instead of smaller and smaller. But that is actually I think that is very that's something that is very relevant to the practicality project, because that deals with discovery, that deals with the creation of the concepts and the discovery of them. So if that comes around again, I think I'll use that kind of an example, and I'll put the process of doing that in a video, just so that you guys can see what happens there. But if I try to describe it right now, it would be where the introspection comes in, because you have no books to tell you what to do, to tell you what to think, what to feel, or how to do anything.
all you have is yourself. And I don't want to say intuition because it's nothing like mind reading, like guessing. I mean, when somebody says intuition, I don't know about other people, but I usually think that like intuition is like this feeling this gut feeling that you get that you're not sure. It's nothing like that. But so you have like nothing to tell you what to do or what to think. It's more like so you're just listening to the feelings, or you're just listening to what you want basically, and by paying attention to what you want, you kind of come up with an ideal in your mind. This is where the archetype comes in, and this is why the concept of the archetype is so. The concept of the archetype is so essential, and it keeps coming up over and over again. And it's one of the things that I had came up with even before I started the project. It's something that it's a concept that actually with the primary project that I'm working on, that's what I created, the archetype, the concept of the archetype. And with the second project, it came up in the beginning, it came up late, it came up in the middle, and it keeps coming up right now. But with every desire comes an ideal that you want to reach, because you cannot have pain without the dream of relieving that pain. And if you didn't have a dream, if you didn't have an ambition, if you didn't have an aspiration to relieve a certain pain, it wouldn't be pain. It would just be a sensation. It would just be something that you feel, you know? And so because with every pain comes the ambition of relieving that pain, then you know that already tells you. That's something that already tells you the state in which you wish to be in. So you already know what you want whenever you're in a position that you don't want to be in. And that's that's what makes it beautiful. That's like the self, it's that dynamic that is in existence allows for the problem to take care of itself, the self-propagation of it. And I'm so glad that's one of the things that I'm glad that I was able to catch with the project. And my project would not be finished unless I caught something like that. Because the whole purpose of the project is to come up with something that can be repeatable, so come up with a formula. And if the formula depends on chance, that's not much of a formula. That's just like rolling the dice, But, so there is the pain, because there will always be pain, there will always be suffering, there will always be a problem. And when there is a problem, the problem itself guarantees that that a solution exists. And the proof of that is that whenever there's a problem, you can at least visualize, you can at least think about, you can at least dream about the state that you wish that you were in. And if you couldn't visualize the state that you wish that you were in, then it wouldn't be a problem, because there would be nowhere to get to. It would just be a sensation. So, so the thing that guarantees this is not, it's logic itself. It would be illogical to have a problem without being able to picture a solution. To create a problem or to conjure up a problem in your mind without there being a counterpart to it. You can't have one side of the coin, if you want to put it that way. So it's the solution. And the same way, you cannot have a solution unless you have a problem, because the definition of the solution is that it solves something, it solves a problem. And so I think, and the reason why I'm repeating it is because I want you to get a good sense of the essentiality here. You know, having a problem means the existence of a possible solution. So you will never be in that state in which, you know, eternal hell, in which you get stuck forever. There will always be something that you can do. And that's not me saying it. That's not something I came up with. That's something I discovered. That's part of reality. That's logic itself. Logic itself says that. And I was just glad to be able to capture that in my project.